Hello and welcome to St George's Park and another FA Cup Rewind, the series where we showcase classic ties from the BBC archives. The FA Cup third round is always a magical weekend on the footballing calendar. It's when the haves meet the have-nots and the famous venture into unfamiliar territory. Our three matches today are very much cases in point, featuring clashes between teams from opposite ends of the football spectrum. In May 1991, George Graham's Arsenal collected their second league title in 3 seasons. Quite simply, they were the best team in the land. In stark contrast, Wrexham were the worst, finishing 92nd out of 92. So when the pair were drawn together in the third round, it hardly seemed like a contest. However, the Welsh side had 2 men in their ranks who were quite accustomed to the big stage, as Tony Gubber discovered.
A stranger in Wrexham's dressing room could be forgiven for thinking this was the youth team. But these fresh-faced ex-YTS lads and schoolboy signings are the first team about to face mighty Arsenal. Wrexham's babies have a trio of former Welsh internationals to act as nursemaid. There's Gordon Davies, now 35, whose goal-scoring touch was enjoyed at Manchester City, Chelsea and Fulham. There's Joey Jones, now 36, once a folk hero at Chelsea and Liverpool, where he won 2 Division 1 titles and a European Cup. And finally, there's Mickey Thomas, now a venerable 37, but still the cheeky chappie that he was at Manchester United, Everton and Chelsea.
Magic goal by Mickey Thomas.
That trio, who've played almost 2,000 senior games between them, make Brian Flynn's Wrexham an extraordinary blend of age and youth. Yesterday's heroes, tomorrow's hopefuls. Among those reaping the benefit is 20-year-old top goalscorer Steve Watkin, who got a hat-trick in the first round and scored this winner against Telford in round 2.
When I took over, we decided we had to produce our own players. We are doing that now. The success of that is in the long term, is going to be very good. It's the only way we had to go, was to produce our own players. But I mean, the qualities that Mickey, Gordon, Joey, I mean, the experience that they pass on to these young players is invaluable.
But what can 3 veterans really, in football terms, what can they bring to a match against a team like Arsenal?
They've seen it all before. The word is experience. They'll help the lads. Obviously, they'll want to play well themselves, and they'll raise their game. It's back in the big time again. But I think it's the qualities that they'll pass on to the younger players.
I mean, I was never the likes of Glenn Hoddle, where I could spray the ball all over the place, you know. I could spray the winger.
With what?
That's what I mean, leave the ball, just spray him across it. I mean, I wasn't that type of player. But my enthusiasm has definitely carried me through all the years. The same as Mickey Thomas, who of course is still playing.
We give them experience in that, and obviously they give us a youth. But it's a nice little blend, and it's a hard division to play in the 4th, and I think you need a bit of experience in there, and I think me, Joey and Gordon certainly give that.
A £500,000 debt and losses of £1,000 a week make Wrexham one of football's impoverished. The lights aren't about to go out on this oldest club in Wales, but it's a shoestring existence.
I've waited near enough, I think, 5 months to get my new pair of boots, which I trained in for the first time this evening. It's one of those things. I've gone through about £65 worth of taping my boot up in the last 3 months, but it would have been cheaper for him to get me a pair of boots 3 months ago.
Arsenal's visit to the racecourse will generate enough profit to pay half a year's wages for Wrexham's assorted babes and veterans. But could they spring the surprise of the day?
They are a quality side. They're one of the best sides in Europe.
In fact, if you look at last season, they won the championship, and Wrexham finished at the other end of the scale. You were 92nd in the Football League.
That's right. I mean, that's the glamour of the FA Cup, though, isn't it? That's the excitement of it, that we can be pitched in there with the glamour boys.
God, what a result it would be if you turn them over.
People keep saying to me it's the year of the underdog. I'd like to think that. Shocks can happen. We can only hope, and that it's us on the day.
Would it really be the year of the underdog? Tony Gubber was still in a chilly North Wales, where a hot reception awaited the champions.
All 92 places in the Football League may have separated these teams last season, but it's the magic of the FA Cup that today they start as equals, and that's quite an experience for Wrexham's babies. Half the team are aged 20 or under, and these YTS lads and schoolboy signings will look for experience today to their trio of veteran Welsh internationals. Number 5, Mickey Thomas, number 7, Gordon Davies, and the substitute Joey Jones have played almost 2,000 senior games between them. Arsenal's recent poor form adds to the uncertainty, but this is still largely the team that won 2 championships, with the addition of number 11 Jimmy Carter, the former Millwall and Liverpool player, whose game for Arsenal on New Year's Day was the first that he'd started since he was signed 3 months ago. Referee Kevin Breen of Liverpool starts this third round cup tie with Arsenal in their change strip, attacking the goal to the left. I've played an FA Cup tie here at the racecourse once previously, back in 1978, a quarter-final, and they defeated Wrexham by 3-2. David O'Leary, he's one of 2 players on the field who played in that match in 1978. Really is a big test for these Wrexham youngsters. I came to watch a match here in the league a few weeks ago, and there was an absolute clutch of First Division managers and scouts from other teams here to look at these exciting young players Wrexham have put together. But here come Arsenal. This is Smith looking for support. Came off the defender, Thackeray, with a corner. So Arsenal forcing the first corner in just over a minute and a half. And attacking the goal behind which their travelling support is gathered. Just over 4,000 of them. They've made the long journey up this morning from London. Merson will take it. Little flick on! Oh! It didn't go in. The keeper was lost. Rocastle taken away from him. And Wrexham have survived the first real scare. And I think it was the centre-forward, Alan Smith, who tried to bundle that in over the line after the little flick on at the near post. Boughton ball for Thackeray to win. Winterburn. Merson. He's gone inside. Thackeray, did it go behind? Oh, it missed the target. Jimmy Carter with the opportunity to make it a glorious start for Arsenal inside the first 5 minutes, and he's put it wide of the post. And it looked for a moment as though Merson had taken this just a touch too wide as he got round the defender Andy Thackeray, but he cut it back beautifully. And with the whole of the target to aim for, Carter missed. Arsenal are conscious that the FA Cup offers perhaps their only real hope of a trophy this season. And they've given Wrexham a bit of a mauling in these first 6 or 7 minutes. Merson. It's intended for Campbell, dealt with neatly by Sartori. Now Mickey Thomas to Gordon Davis, who stepped around O'Leary's tackle. Conley still battling for it. Now Phillips is getting in there, and Carter concedes the throw. Wrexham's ball, and they've taken it. This is Mickey Thomas. Adams went in strongly on Watkin. Free kick given. A chance for Wrexham to relieve the pressure a little bit. Header out was by Dixon. Back by Phillips. This is Hardy. It's Watkin. He's kept it in play. Davis. Now Mickey Thomas. And that's a really good cross in now from Mickey Thomas. And he's delivered it as well. Seaman had to come a long way and be very positive. And he's done well too to feed Merson. And how quickly Arsenal have turned defence into attack. Campbell's broken down the left, pursued by Sartori. Oh, he's worked him well. Still Campbell, good footwork. And again, they've cleared it from their own 6-yard box. Arsenal's throw. But that's the 3rd time that Arsenal have got the ball into that 6-yard box in telling positions and haven't quite managed to score. And this time O'Keefe comes and gathers well. What a fine bit of footwork that was by Kevin Campbell. Only been a substitute in several games, last 4 games in fact. Hardy. And really Watkin has got little chance of out-jumping Tony Adams. He wants the ball played on the ground to him. This is Campbell. Now Watkin will get to this first of all. Now they want to build carefully. And they've delivered in the air, but it's gone right through to Conley. Now there's 4 in the box. Phillips got the header. Owen! Oh, how did he miss? Gareth Owen, nearly the highlight of his football career, and he's still only 20. Carl Connolly's cross, a little flick on off a defender, and an instinctive first-time shot by Gareth Owen, inches wide of the post. Inside by Mickey Thomas. Rocastle who took it away from Owen. Now Merson. Oh, he's run outside Sartori. Now surely, yes! Alan Smith saves Arsenal's blushes with 1 minute to go to half-time. You'd have to say it's a goal that Arsenal have threatened and which they certainly deserve for the number of chances they've created. And maybe if you want to be hypercritical, they ought to have had more. But again, it was good football by Merson. Smith at full stretch, and Arsenal ahead by 1-0. So Alan Smith becomes Arsenal's top goal scorer this season with 14. Moving ahead of Ian Wright, who's on 13. Oh, is this an early reply? Well, Steve Watkin was Wrexham's top scorer. He's got 11. And that was a quick reply and a quick riposte and a warning to Arsenal that this cup tie isn't yet won. Alan Smith has given them the lead at half-time. But it might have been different, as Arsenal squandered so many chances in that opening 5 or 10 minutes. And but for the miss by Gareth Owen, the ball played just wide of the post, it could have been a different story. But there's still a game for Wrexham to chase, with a half-time score here at the racecourse. Wrexham 0, Arsenal 1. This is only the second time in 10 years that Wrexham have reached the third round of the FA Cup. Unless they can pull something out in this second half, this will be the end of this year's involvement in the competition. I wonder if Brian Flynn has had a word with them at half-time about the aerial power of Tony Adams. Now space here for a good cross. Oh, he hit the bar, did it? Well, that came from nothing. Nigel Winterburn, who'd come down that left side. Now, what did he intend here? He hit that really hard, and it smacked against the underside of the bar with O'Keefe beaten, and Wrexham cleared it. Now, did he intend that, Winterburn, or was it meant to be a cross? Nicely laid down by Watkin to Thomas. This is for Gordon Davis. Now have they opened them up here? Or if he can hit a good long ball, Conley's free on this side. To Thackeray! Fabulous save! Oh, what a break that was. What a chance. What a moment for Andy Thackeray to cover himself in glory. It looks as though the best ball on here for Gordon Davis was a long one to the far post where Carl Conley was, but he spotted Thackeray's run, who hit it perfectly, and what a world-class save from Seaman. Well, that's just underlined the warning to Arsenal. It's Rocastle. Merson first time for Campbell to chase. Well spotted by Merson. Still Campbell. Comes inside Carey, right foot. O'Keefe saved with his legs. Well, he's made a couple of good saves in this match, Vince O'Keefe. Flicked on by Watkin. This is Winterburn. And the whistle is gone for a free kick. Foul against Gordon Davis. And that has given Wrexham a free kick just on the edge of the penalty area. With 8 minutes left. Now 11 is Phillips, 5 there is the captain Mickey Thomas. It's Thomas who takes it. Oh, what a goal, Mickey Thomas! He's done it, the magic little man at the venerable age of 37 has produced a sensational goal. And that has lit the fires. Oh, Could you imagine a free kick struck sweeter than that and at a more important time? Seaman had no chance. It was right up into that top corner. And Seaman did well to get a finger on it, but there was no stopping that. And plucky Wrexham in the 4th division have got it back to 1-1, and it's no more than they deserve, because they've taken the game to Arsenal in this second half, and Arsenal, for my money, have been too content to sit back. And now they'll have to pep up their ideas a bit. Winterburn knocks it forward for Merson. And that's easy for O'Keefe. Well, Mickey Thomas, he was in the Wrexham side that lost the quarter-final to Arsenal back in 1978, when they lost 2-3 and had 1 or 2 dubious refereeing decisions, so they'll tell you, and was also in that Manchester United side, which lost in the cup final to Arsenal back in the 70s. Six minutes left. Watkin. Oh, he scored! Steve Watkin has got a goal! And Arsenal face humiliation. 2 goals from Wrexham in the space of 2 minutes. And suddenly, Arsenal's world is falling around their ears. It was Adams who missed his clearance. Watkin reacted quickest, and from just outside the 6-yard box, it's 2-1 Wrexham, and the biggest upset of the day is now on the cards. Rocastle. Well, there's a bit of urgency now, but there's not a lot of time. 4 minutes, cut out by Hardy. Well, Groves is fresh, he's full of running. This is Carter, this is Groves. Can Wrexham hold out for the scoreline that will really astonish the rest of football? Hooked in by Dixon, headed out by Thackeray. Anywhere will do for Wrexham. Here's Watkin, and he's got round Adam. Play waved on. And Gordon Davis has come hurtling across. Well, in their moment of triumph, Wrexham don't want to lose their concentration and let this slip. This is Merson. Tried to bundle through 2 players, and no free kick given. And 1 or 2 harsh words being exchanged, and this will be an embarrassment for Arsenal if it stays like this. Remember, they were the champions last season. Wrexham only avoided demotion out of the Football League because nobody was demoted last season. They were 92nd. They couldn't have been further apart. The aristocrats from Highbury against the shoestring outfit from Wrexham. And this free kick for Arsenal, it's Hillier and Nigel Winterburn. Looks like Winterburn might hit this left-footed. Sort of position from which Mickey Thomas scored, of course. Didn't get the accuracy, didn't get the power. Arsenal have made a habit of going out in giant killing acts. They've lost 6 times to teams from the lower divisions. 4 times they've lost in this 3rd round. If this is the 5th, if that's the way it stays. The last time was against York, and that was in the 4th round in 1985. And if memory serves me right, they lost to a penalty. But this will put Arsenal's season in tatters if it stays like this. O'Keefe thought about coming and then decided the defender would get it. Rocastle, well struck. But there's so little time left for Arsenal to chisel away at this. Inside the last 60 seconds of the 90 minutes, plus time added on for stoppages. They'll be singing in the valleys. They'll be singing in North Wales. Sartori won the header. Thackeray still in, but went out of play. It's Arsenal's, no, it's offside. Well, Wrexham's home record has been pretty impressive this season. They've won 12 out of 17 at home, drawn 2 and lost 3. And look how far David Seaman's come out of his goal to take this kick. Arsenal have pushed everybody forward. Oh, flags up on this side. If it goes in, it won't count. The flag's up on this side, and it went up. It went up a long time before the ball went in. It's no point protesting. The flag had gone up as soon as that ball was knocked in, and Tony Adams is wasting his breath. It looks as though Merson might have been the player who was offside, and the flag had gone up straight away. And we move into stoppage time. And every Welshman in this crowd of just over 13,000 is whistling for the end. Phillips just hoiks it anywhere, and Connolly was marginally offside. Again, Seaman's come racing out of his goal. We're approaching a minute of stoppage time played. They're just lifting it into the box. Sartori's clearing header. This is Winterburn. What a desperate finish for Arsenal. And if the early chances had gone in, how different it might have been. Dixon just hit long. And there's the whistle. Wrexham have achieved a really famous FA Cup victory. And it's a solemn-faced George Graham who comes out of the dugout. And if Arsenal go back to London wondering what happened here, well, for me, they didn't do enough in the second half. They allowed Wrexham to get a grip on the game and come back at them. Steve Watkin with the winning goal will make the headlines, but for me, the free kick from Mickey Thomas was really the moment that set this victory up. The Welsh Dragon is evident everywhere. Oh, what a celebration, what a party there'll be in Wrexham tonight. And it's Wrexham's name which goes into the hat for the fourth round draw. A scoreline which people will blink and disbelieve at when they see for the first time. It's Wrexham from the 4th Division 2, Arsenal from the 1st 1.
Wrexham would fall to West Ham in the 4th round, but not before taking the 1st Division side to a replay. Arsenal, meanwhile, dressed their Welsh wounds by winning the Cup the next season. The greatest day in Coventry City's history is undoubtedly their 1987 FA Cup final success over Tottenham Hotspur. Many of the Sky Blues heroes from that day were still at the club in January 1989, when they were drawn to play non-league Sutton United. Ahead of the David versus Goliath tie, Archie Macpherson travelled to Surrey to find out some more about the Vauxhall Conference side and their literary manager.
The part-timers, most of whom have excellent jobs ranging from bank manager to commodity broker, exude the air of a team quite simply enjoying an excursion from obscurity. The draw against Coventry caused them little anxiety.
I must admit, when we were waiting for the draw, we were sort of looking for someone to say like Everton or Liverpool. But the next best thing is really a team like Coventry, who I think at the time were 3rd from top in the 1st Division.
Probably Coventry supporters still fortify themselves on the memories of their cup win 2 years ago. Elation has eventually to give way to realism. Coventry go to Sutton with a fine pedigree, which nevertheless is ripe for plucking.
This time we envisage that another 25,000 possibly will come into the kitty, which of course will be ploughed back, and mainly on the social side, which at non-league level is so important for the future of the club. We can't be guaranteed playing in the FA Cup 3rd round every season. I think we're very fortunate to have done it 2 years running.
Coming across a manager like Barry Williams, who used to teach English and who's as likely to quote Shakespeare as he is Tommy Docherty, does show that this is no ordinary club with ordinary thinking.
I think the psychology of the game is our one great advantage and could be the chink in their armour, in that we know that professional clubs do not like coming to non-league grounds. They have often been the graveyard of many aspiring professional sides. And I think the psychology of participation could help us. And I think the fact that we did well last year, and we know our ground, we know it will be filled to capacity, and we know the adrenaline will be running, I think that is where we might match the might of the 1st Division.
A Monday bank holiday afternoon in Sutton. Maidstone the opponents, in little danger of claustrophobia on the terraces. Tony Pamphlet scores a sloppy goal for the visitors, thus driving potential cheerleaders to doses of caffeine. Sutton probably have Coventry on their minds. Fear of injury is always a big handicap during Cup week, but they do fight back. Matthew Hanlon finds a little inspiration. Rogers' shot is pounced upon by Paul McKinnon, who 8 years ago played for Malmo, thus confirming the manager's belief in the strong team spirit.
Certainly the Coventry players will be far superior to us in terms of technique and ability, and of course they have the advantage of being able to train together every day in their professional capacity. So what we have is a sense of teamship, and the faith that I have in the possibility that a victory might be achieved is based on that the team spirit will carry us through.
Electronic Trivial Pursuits takes the mind off Saturday and the game that really matters for just a little while. They score well here, but Coventry will be asking different questions which might not stimulate just as much satisfaction to Sutton as this computer does.
So would it be game over for Coventry? John Motson was there to see if Sutton could write history.
Sutton United welcomed by a capacity 8,000 crowd. It's a big day for the GM Vauxhall Conference Club, especially for their centre-forward Lenny Dennis. He's played in the World Cup qualifiers for Jamaica. He's scored in every round of the FA Cup this season, and now he shares the same pitch as his favourite player, Coventry's number 9, Cyril Regis, who played here at Gander Green Lane 12 years ago when he was a virtual unknown with Hayes. Well, the team news shows that Sutton centre-half Stuart Hemsley unluckily failed a fitness test this morning, so Vernon Pratt plays at number 5. Still, there are 9 survivors from Sutton's third-round adventure last season against Middlesbrough. As for Coventry, they field the side that beat Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 on Monday. David Bennett and Lloyd McGrath are now both back after each breaking a leg. So there are 7 survivors from the cup-winning team of 2 seasons ago, plus Keith Houchin, who is one of the subs today. The true flavour of the FA Cup. Coventry City in sky blue, who played at Wembley in front of nearly 100,000 people less than 2 years ago, playing from right to left. David Bennett on the ball for the number 7 against the team from the GM Vauxhall Conference in yellow, Sutton United. First cross in for Coventry, Sedgley's there, and it came off Golly, and Sedgley again. And once more, Nigel Golly in the way to concede the corner. Sedgley who went close. Well, that could have been the start that Sutton didn't want. There's Kilcline, and Regis nearly in there. Heavily sanded penalty area, but good playing surface here at Sutton, helped perhaps by a little overnight rain. Softened it up rather. Sutton's normal crowd here about 750. There's Rogers and Hanlon closing in. Smith. Down the line for David Phillips. Regis. Free kick. Nigel Golly on Cyril Regis. Well, so far, Sutton have seemed most concerned when the ball has been played across their penalty area in the air. We'll see if it happens again here. Speedy is up well, and Kilcline is there, and straight at the keeper from the Coventry captain. Just been restored to the captaincy, Brian Kilcline, and he'll feel there that he might have scored. David Speedy, I think you'll see a very good jump on the far side of the area, getting up tremendously well, and Kilcline might have placed that better. Here's Mickey Stevens. And there's Dennis again. McKinnon waiting in the centre, so is Hanlon. Corner off Kilcline. First corner for Sutton United. At the heart of what's proving a good little spell for them. And we'll see Golly and Pratt go forward now. They were working on these near-post corners only this morning on a little pitch over at the back of the ground. Stevens to take. And Steve Sedgley out as far as Rodgers with the header back in. McKinnon is there. And Hanlon! And Igrizovic saved it, and Dennis! So close for Sutton. Matthew Hanlon wondering how it stayed out. It's going to be a corner on the far side again. But great excitement here. Sedgley again, the defender. David Phillips breaks away for a very relieved Coventry City, while the Sutton supporters debate that goal-mouth scramble and how close their team came. Smith to Speedy. And here's Regis offside. Well, Steve Igrizovic here had some work to do. First of all, Sedgley clears the corner. The shot coming in is from Paul Rodgers. A header, in fact, back in. And then, onside, it falls for Hanlon. That's a good save. And the angle wasn't in Dennis's favour. It was a corner. And McKinnon to Stevens. And both Dennis and McKinnon here against Kilcline for the moment. This is McKinnon. 3 waiting and a corner. Well, what a good time this would be to get a goal. Especially for the part-timers. Pratt and Golly in the 6-yard box waiting. And Golly, and Rains, and a goal! And they have done it! And Tony Rains, the left back, is the hero of Sutton, for the time being at least. Now, this morning, on a bleak park pitch, just behind the ground, they were working on this corner, and how it's paid off. The man to flick it on is Golly. And Rains, the number 3, puts that header past the man on the line. Kilcline and Sutton are in front. It's the 42nd minute, and Kilcline couldn't keep it out. Well, what will Coventry do about that? Now, Regis. Bennett. And away by Pratt from Speedy. It's going to be a corner to Coventry in the dying seconds of the first half here. This is Phillips to Smith. Here comes Regis, and now Kilcline. Golly's header out to McKinnon. And half-time with Sutton United leading First Division Coventry City to the delight of their supporters, and how fitting that the goal should be scored by long-serving Tony Rains, who with his brother have played some 1,300 matches for this club, but Tony hasn't played in one perhaps quite like this against such powerful opposition. 1-0 at half-time to Sutton. Is common to the level of football that Sutton play at, and indeed to the First Division where Coventry are, is the success of the near-post corner. It works again in this cup tie. So hard to defend against. Here's Smith for Coventry. In the back, Kilcline on Dennis. Rains with the free kick for Sutton. Up goes Dennis. Here's Stevens. Well, the one thing Coventry won't want to do is concede another corner after what happened in the 42nd minute. This is Bennett. And now Sedgley. And Phillips has made a run from left back, and there's danger here for Sutton United. And Phillips has put Coventry City level. After 52 minutes, the Welsh international timing his run perfectly from deep. This was a splendid run by Phillips. Look at the way he bisects those 2 defenders, and he gets on the end of it on his right foot, which he favours, although he's playing left-back today, and he turned that comfortably past Trevor Roffey. So 7 minutes after half-time, and David Phillips scores. That's a good-looking ball. David Phillips again. Now Bennett has gone to the left to have a run at the other fullback, no doubt, Jones. And he seems to have outpaced him. But there was cover on from little Phil Dawson, midfield player. And he's found Lenny Dennis. That was a foul by Sedgley. Robin Jones to take the free kick for Sutton. Kilcline was stretching a bit there, and happy in the end to just get it away. Mickey Stevens takes the corners on both sides, so we could look for another good delivery from him. Here's Dawson. Oh, and driven in! And number 11, Matthew Hanlon, followed that in. And Sutton have done it again from a corner kick, bringing this little ground to life once more. And the Coventry defence was standing still. They've restored their lead, and Hanlon salutes the crowd. It was the decoy, really, from the corner. Coventry were expecting a direct cross. Dawson floats the ball in. It's flicked on, and Hanlon is the player who finishes it off from close in. Good ball in by Dawson. Ogrizovic lost it, and Hanlon was there. 2-1 to Sutton. In by Rains. Oh, what a chance again here! Oh, Hanlon again. Could have been 3-1. Well, this lad's 22. He works as a master bricklayer. And he's certainly building something here for Sutton United, because he's sneaking in on the blind side of the Coventry defence, and they're not picking him up. Smith. Here goes Speedy, and here comes Regis, surely! Oh! How did he miss that? I wouldn't think even he's sure. The ball delivered by Smith. It's the touch from Speedy that sets Regis up. He seemed to get away from Golly. Oh, the goalkeeper on the legs, wasn't it? Well, no corner has been given, but I just wonder if that goes down as a good save by Trevor Roffey. In the meantime, Cyril Regis has made his last contribution to this cup tie, because with that shot, he is substituted. The man who's come on to replace Regis is Keith Houchin, who tends to be a lucky mascot when it comes to the FA Cup. I wonder if he will be today. Speedy to Sedgley. Now then, Coventry have got a break. They've got 5 players to his right. And off Golly, and they appeal for handball, but it's given the other way against David Speedy. To the mighty relief of Sutton United. And to Speedy's disbelief. I think he was penalised for a foul here on Nigel Golly, David Speedy, or did he handle it first? 8 minutes to go. Coventry have got to take risks now. They've got to just throw players forward and risk the fact that Sutton may score again at the other end. This is Smith. It's a teasing cross. Houchin's up there, and Roffey onto the bar, and Sedgley, no! Play on, and McGrath and Bennett get in each other's way. How did that stay out? Well, that was the great escape as far as Sutton were concerned, and Coventry with Barry Williams, whose nerves must have been on edge, even took the pipe out of his mouth there, because this was the closest Coventry have been to making it 2-2. Houchin's header, keeper struggling a bit against Speedy on the bar, Sedgley post and bar, would you believe, and then McGrath in Bennett's way. All of which might suggest to you that this is going to be Sutton's day, or perhaps it'll encourage Coventry in these last 7 minutes to find a way through and rescue this potentially calamitous situation for them. The possibility of the cup holders of 2 seasons ago going out on the ground of a team not even in the Barclays League, for whom Stevens is doing a useful job here now. Good cross. Time is running out for Coventry City. 6 minutes. David Phillips. Sedgley. It needed the flick on from McGrath, and he's found Smith. Houchin's in the middle. Chance perhaps here for Coventry. Oh, not with a cross like that. Poor delivery by Smith. However, it is going to be a corner. Speedy's up there again. Klein waiting. Corner. Sutton have got some anxious defending to do yet, that's for sure. They've got 5 minutes to survive. Trevor Peake has now come forward. Kilcline! Oh, off the line. Robin Jones, was it? The right back? Well, I think he was standing on the right-hand post and somehow rescued his goalkeeper and his side. Kilcline got the header down. Look at the flick up from the fullback. Kilcline again with the keeper who's gone down. Peake! Houchin couldn't get there. Hearts in their mouths now for these Sutton defenders. Trevor Peake lofted it back in, but it would seem that the Sutton goal with 4 minutes left is bearing a charmed life. Houchin against Golly. Wasn't the best of touches from the number 4, and Houchin will settle for the corner. And they've survived 3 or 4 close things from corner kicks, have Sutton, and Bennett will swing this one in again, looking perhaps for Kilcline or Peake. Houchin on the 6-yard line. 3 Sutton players go for it. Sedgley, goal kick. Anxious whistles starting to echo round the ground here at Gander Green Lane as the fans savour the real possibility of a cup shot in the Surrey stockbroker belt. Forward by Stevens. Well, I wouldn't think they've had a day quite like this down here before, and they may never have another one, who knows. They won't be closer than this after the disappointment of Leeds all those years ago here, beaten 6-0 Sutton then, and the bitter pill that they had to swallow last year up at Middlesbrough after doing so well. This could be their finest hour, but can Coventry cancel it out? Here's Bennett, and they may yet. This is Houchin, and Phillips, and Smith, and wide. He knows that with only 2 minutes left, that could prove a costly miss. And Barry Williams, who quotes Shakespeare and quotes Kipling, well, tomorrow morning, if it stays like this, the papers will be quoting the Sutton manager. After the ecstasy of Wembley, John Sillett is within touching distance of being on the other end of a cup sensation. Speedy. Phillips. Bennett has got a bit of space. He hasn't now. That was Paul Rogers in the way. McKinnon couldn't control it, but Rogers could. Well, it's going to have to be last gasp stuff now if Coventry City are going to save themselves, as 8,000 supporters, most of them, of course, following the underdogs, wonder just how much more time the referee will allow after the 90 minutes is up. Robin Jones at right back concedes the corner. This could be Coventry's last chance. Peak off the line again, this time I think by Rodgers. Smith, wide again, sliced it. Well, Trevor Roffey in goal there has been mighty glad of the help of his own defenders on a couple of occasions when he could do nothing about it. They've scrambled a couple away from the line for him. In this tremendous cup tie atmosphere. And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. Barry Williams' finest moment. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side down in the stockbroker country. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. Twice in front, the second time they were able to hold on. Both goals from corners, and Sutton United write their name all over the third round of the FA Cup in 1989, following in the footsteps of teams in the past from outside the league who put out First Division opposition. There haven't been too many. When it happens, it's headline news, and the headlines today belong to Sutton United and Barry Williams. Wonderful scenes here. Barry Williams started his programme notes with a verse of poetry today, and he may feel that there's something poetic about the way his side went out and defeated a First Division side.
Sadly for Sutton, that was the end of their cup heroics. They lost 8-0 to Norwich in round 4. Nevertheless, their victory over Coventry will forever be etched in FA Cup folklore, and it would be another 24 years before a non-league side toppled top-flight opposition. Manchester United's history has, of course, involved many great occasions at Wembley Stadium, but perhaps the most famous of them all was the night of 29th May 1968, the 4-1 win over Benfica that gave the club its first European Cup. The FA Cup pays no heed to reputations, though, and a little more than 7 months later, Sir Matt Busby's Red Devils were travelling to the distinctly less glamorous surroundings of Exeter City's St James's Park and a third-round tie against the Grecians. It was a match that pitched 4th Division strugglers against the holy trinity of Best, Law and Charlton. Alan Weeks was there.
A very orderly 18,500 capacity crowd, and those who can't see from the terraces overspilled up into the trees. The Exeter City team using a 4-3-3 formation. The man to watch is number 8, Alan Banks. Scored 15 goals for Exeter this season. Number 9, Alan Pickney, an amateur, playing in only his 4th match for Exeter City. And up on the roofs, the crowd's watching Manchester United kicking into their goal at the other end. The Manchester United team using a 4-2-4 formation. Fitzpatrick, number 4, coming in place of Paddy Crerand. 4 front runners. Sartori comes in at number 11 with David Sadler as a substitute. 4 front runners: George Best, Brian Kidd, Dennis Law and Sartori. And so it's the European champions, Manchester United, who kick off against Exeter City, next to bottom of the 4th Division, in this fairy tale cup tie at Exeter. A fine afternoon at St James Park, 18,500 people, a very orderly crowd as Manchester United in the dark shirts attacking the goal to the right, try and come into the attack. 3 European footballers of the year in the Manchester United side, George Best, Bobby Charlton and Dennis Law, all won that title, and Georgie Best, of course, the most recent. Tony Dunn with a lot of room out to Georgie Best. Best take also beautiful dribbling by Best. Best taken down. The referee has given a free kick against Best. Out quickly by Jones. This is Johnny Mitten. And Mitten pushed away by Fitzpatrick, and the referee, Mr. Wallace, pointing at Fitzpatrick. Another free kick to Exeter City. Johnny Newman again. He's bounced about 20 yards on the last free kick. 15 minutes of play gone, no score. Newman with a kick. And Sharples was up there for it. Brian Kidd into touch. The throw goes to Exeter City. And the European champions looking at front. Mike Worry. This is Alan Pinkney. Good ball. A lovely goal. And it's there. A lovely goal. Alan Banks is the scorer. What a goal. Stepney was left absolutely stranded. Across to Alan Pickney, centre forward. They're calling for it up in the centre, but he sees Banks on the left. Floats it across to Banks. Stepney has moved across to the left of the goal. Banks' header, and Stepney is caught. He has to move very quickly, but just doesn't quite reach it. And that puts Exeter City next to bottom in the 4th division, ahead of the European champions. Manchester United kick off again, 1 goal down, and now they're going to have to really pull out the stops. 15 minutes of play gone. Exeter City leading Manchester United by 1 goal to 0, and a great goal by Alan Banks. Fitzpatrick now. Georgie Best. There's the Exeter crowd, and are they happy at this moment? Georgie Best. It's a good header. Well, there again, that was a deceptive one, because Georgie Best headed that one beautifully. George Best, very deceptive, very casual, just floated it over. This is Johnny Newman, floating it back again. There's Alan Banks there. Alan Banks, it looked like a handball. There's another goal! It's uncalled, but the referee has blown. There was certainly a handball in the middle of it. Quite sure there was a handball before the ball went anywhere near the net. Mike Bolson, who's been a full-back. That's going to be a corner. Mike. Best, a very quick corner to Sartori. Tantalizing Best. Drawing the men. A neat flick to Sartori. It's a good shot, and it's a great save. A good header there by Steve James. Smile across field ball rather luckily comes to play. That's a good ball, a good ball. Pickney. Pickney's beaten 2 men, but he's drawn it back too far. Mitten with a shot, and it's only just outside. Oh, lovely try by Exeter City. One thought at first that perhaps Pickney might have had a crack at first go, but he beat 2 men, and there was Mitten to put it through. Burns, Sartori, and it's Smythe. Smythe now right down to the edge of the penalty area. It's a good one. Stepney had got in trouble with that. Smythe's shot was an excellent one. Sartori to Frankie Burns. Best. Tackled by Brian Sharples. The ball is over. It's a good one. And there's Fitzpatrick again. It's in the net. Fitzpatrick it is, who came flatting through with only 1 minute left in this first half. That's a shattering blow for Exeter City, who've been holding Manchester United right through the half. Fitzpatrick came through beautifully to put that ball in the net. 1-1 the score. Only a minute plus probably a minute or 2 of injury time. So Manchester United have evened the score right on the whistle of half-time. And so it's the 4th division heroes from Exeter City holding the European champions to 1-1, who kick off in the second half. Manchester United and Bobby Charlton moving fast. Sharples into touch. Bobby Charlton, who covered a lot of ground very fast then. Sartori. Ryan Kidd. Sartori. Back to Kidd, who've been floating along dangerously behind him. And that one floated straight through. Here's Bobby Charlton. He's missed a shot. He's kicked off the line by play. A swerver there. What a chance for United that was. It's Frankie Byrne trying to force it through. Done. Good one. And it's in the net. Well, it looked to me as though Georgie Best touched that one as it went through. Dennis Law put his hands on the air, but I reckon it was Georgie Best's header that flicked that one past. Dennis Law threw his hands on the air, but it looked to me as though it was George Best's head that deflected that one just outside of Peter Shearing's reach. 15 minutes of play gone into the second half, and Manchester United go 2-1 into the lead. Fitzpatrick, a man who helped him in that goal. This is Sartori. This is John Mitten. Fitzpatrick now. Best again. Fitzpatrick. There's Best. And it's come loose. Dennis Law with a shot. And this time it's in the net from Brian Kidd. Exeter City's defence is now folded up. Two chances on that. Dennis Law had the first shot. Brian Kidd had the second. It was Kidd who scored. Up comes James, and dramatically the match has changed. 16 minutes, Best scored, or an own goal perhaps, and then 17th minute Brian Kidd really rattled the rigging with that second shot. Well, Exeter City, who done so well, suddenly collapsed there and concede 2 goals in a minute. 1-3, Manchester United in the lead. Stepney. This is Best. And Best is playing beautifully. And he was taken back. Best was taken back by Blaine. Certainly didn't appear to be a deliberate foul under any circumstances, but it certainly slowed up Best to an absolute trot. Jack Crompton is going to carry Best off, and it looks as though perhaps David Sadler will be coming on. We've had 2 minutes of injury time now. Goal kick going to be taken by Stepney. There is the final whistle, and Manchester United have won by 3 goals to 1. A very sporting and hard-fought cup tie. The goal scorers, Fitzpatrick, Best and Kidd, and for Exeter, Alan Banks.
The cup did end up in Manchester in 1969, albeit in the hands of City, who beat Leicester in the final. Join us again soon for some more classic cup action from the archives on FA Cup Rewind.